Alright, we're gonna just give the old stump grinder a once over. I hope the camera's pointed okay. And if it's not, it might be a little better. If it's not, then I hope, I guess I'll have to do it again. Hope nothing. Alright, this is my old Vermeer 665A stump grinder toolbox, and it's got a lot of years on it, so we're gonna give it a once over as before we start up, and you're gonna see what I do before I start. First thing you're gonna notice, of course, is the muffler, but that's because this is threaded and tapered and it doesn't hold into the manifold well, and I have lost mufflers because over the years it's gotten rusted in there and it just doesn't thread in, and then when you do get it tight, it heats up and loosens it just like you would a bolt. If you had to loosen a bolt, you would use a torch, you know, heating, cooling. So muffler goes on there, and then I carry it home where you saw I take it off. But I mean, these are just idiosyncrasies of older machines, really. Of course, there's the skirts for throwing debris. Fuel tank, regular gas engine, 4-cylinder Wisconsin. I do make it a habit to always check my oil before I start it. It does run quite often. It does burn oil. It's an old engine. In my toolbox, I keep a couple of important things here. Extra pockets and teeth, and pockets where the bolts sheared. Of course, a grease gun, the wrenches necessary to change things, a few extra links of drive chain for the cutter wheel. I've got 4 major, really high speed grease points on here, and I just hit those every time I use it. Ooh. There's a couple of, oh, there we go. A couple of pumps of grease, and that keeps her well greased. These are the main bearings to carry the cutter wheel. Now, as you're going to see, this cutter wheel is missing teeth. That is intentional because I've been playing with my tooth pattern. Part of the issue that I have with this machine, part of the issue I have with the machine is that that's a Rayco wheel. We'll get into teeth in a second. I got a carrier bearing here that I like to get some grease in every time I use it. Okay. I do use yellow jackets. This did use super teeth, but it does use yellow jackets now. I just put Sharpies on. And as you see, it's a very sporadic pattern that I'm using, and you'll notice that in here is where I've gotten rid of all the excess teeth, because I never cut a stump that deep. I would have teeth on there for years, and they would never ever even get a nick on them. So kind of figuring what's the point, and that's what I'm testing. All right, stump skirts, or throw skirts. These are just held up by bungees that you stick in there, and these are to keep debris from hammering you while you're working. There's a couple of pins. Always got to remember to remove the plug for the lights, because that plug for the lights is not as long as the tongue extension. This is a pin for the tongue extension. Got to remove that. And this is a pin for the up and down of the cutter wheel. Remove that. That is not on a chain. Don't want any steel bouncing around in there. That goes here. This is how I lubricate my chain. And there's usually an oil drip here. I just find it 10 times easier than constant maintenance on that. To keep oiling a little bit here and there manually. And I actually use bar oil because it's got a sticking agent and you're just lubricating a drive chain. All right, the clutch mechanism on this, that's just a convenient place to put that. The clutch mechanism on this is super simple. You have a belt that tightens and loosens just like you would on a lawnmower, and it's got a hydraulic driven piston here. This is an override that's manual. And it just, all it does is it shoves this whole thing forward. And it shoves the engine forward, that tensions the belt, in turn drives the chain, and away you go with your flywheel. And cut away. Right and left pistons, there's 2 of these on here. This is the up and down piston, elevates the cutter wheel. This has to be fastened to a truck. They make like a fork unit for this, and I gotta tell you something. The fork unit, it goes in the ground and you attach to it, just not acceptable. Of course, the Jeep Comanche, dedicated stump cutting vehicle, 4-wheel drive, fits everywhere. It's got enough gut to pull this thing anywhere, especially in low, and it's a good truck that can take a beating because this machine does vibrate quite a bit. Hearing protection, which I'm actually wearing now, mandatory, and a face shield, something with a crown protector. You do stand behind the shield. Oh, let's take a look at how the shield folds out. There, that's the shield folded in. And then we'll fold the shield out. Okay, the plexiglass over the years has really yellowed and faded. You know, it's translucent now. It's just the beating that it takes in weather. This is what we replace, is this corner here. That's all you really use. And you want to stand here because if you look, part of shielding you from the cutter wheel is in fact the tire does a great deal of shielding. But there's also that skirt. This will afford the opportunity. Now I'm guessing my camera might be up over the top, but my face is behind the shield, and when you wear a face screen you can stick your head out to the side, see what you're doing a little bit. I do dig around the stumps a little bit before I go. I find that to be very helpful. There are grease points on these pivots which get greased once a week. I just give them a squirt, and then before I squirt them again I'll wipe them down. This is the other swing piston, and that's it. Wisconsin 4-cylinder. Oop, popped off my intake. Cover that up, get this going back through the air filter. There is a lot of debris that flies. You don't want to leave your intake open. That's it. Gasoline engine, 4-cylinder Wisconsin. And the only other thing is, of course this is the fuel tank in case you're wondering. The only other thing I've done is I have replaced my ignition mechanism with this. A on-off switch and a momentary switch for starting. It is very important with this machine too. My brake is on, I'm in gear, I'm turned uphill. I don't know if you can tell how stiff a hill that is. But I do chock front and rear because I have had this thing get in a position where it'll just push the truck forward and all that good stuff. All right, anyway, let's give me a second to figure out how I'm gonna make this all work with the camera on and all this headgear, and we'll take it from there. So give me 1 second. All right, this thing is on there, the GoPro, and a little tight fit. We're gonna see how we do, and we'll take it from there. We'll just let this run out. You get a feel for real time on the stump. I have to put a mount on my head shield here, face shield here. So we got, this is how much stump we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 feet across. and about 1, 2, 4.5 feet that way by the time we hit the dirt. She's a big stump. This machine has, I think it's a 5-foot push on the tongue extension. I mean, I'm only going to run long enough. It's really uncomfortable with this camera on the way it is. I think we have a 5-foot tongue extension. I believe we also have a 5-foot swing, and I can go down 24 inches below level. I can really go down with this thing the way it's set up. Anyway, the on switch is on. You're going to hear the fuel pump running. We moved the choke over here so that it wasn't constantly swinging on this arm. It used to be where this is, as you can see. Choke. So we moved it over here. It makes it run a little bit better, work a little bit better and last longer. A lot of things wear out on this machine because of usage. Fuel up. There she goes, running like a champ. This is cutting wheel down, cutting wheel up. All right. This is tongue out and in. You see how that works? And this is travel right and left. And this is our speed adjuster. The further out you go, the faster it goes. Okay, so we're going to put her in just a little bit more. Right? No, it's the further in it goes, the faster it goes. Because it's pulling the plunger out. I'm going to go out a little bit. And right about there ought to do it. And this is the clutching gauge. Now you see the whole engine move forward. Or reverse, excuse me. When the engine pulls back, it pulls on the back of the belt. There you go. We'll throttle up, we'll do some cutting, and run out the camera. Move a little material, and this is good. We're going to measure this off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4.5 feet, and you'll be able to get it to see when we pull it in how far the throw is. It's a good way. It's a good way indeed. We're going to get a pitchfork out. We're going to get rid of some of this stuff. We can see what we're doing. something, whatever we got in there. I mean, we got it all. Can't leave without it, especially that digging bar to pull rock. Back a couple feet. I'm gonna have to move her over to get over there. But all in all things considered, for stuff like this, woo, look at that beauty. We're going pretty good. A giant stump, and that is it in real time. My teeth took a beating. Oh, that's obvious. I mean, you could hear the stones, you can see the pile of grinding stuff that I had to remove, and yeah, that was that. So we're gonna move into this sugar maple stump here next. You got this beauty in here. I got that one over there. I got a lot of work to do here. So if you will forgive me, I'm going to do what I got to do to get rid of what I got to get rid of. And that's the video. Kind of simple, probably kind of boring. But that's that. And, you know, click like, subscribe, all that stuff if you feel like it. If not, thanks for watching. I don't really care. I don't have that much intention of being a YouTuber for a living. All right, have a great day.